Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey.
Welcome to episode 26 of Bourbon Trail Tales and Tastes, where we are taking you with us to Hopkinsville, Kentucky to visit Casey Jones Distillery on December 18th of 2022. This is our 31st distillery and our 24th stamp on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's also our third stop on the Stateline Whiskey Tour. I'd like to share a little bit about the Stateline Whiskey Tour. So let's share some photos and I'll tell you a little bit about it. You can pick any place to start, but it depends on where you're coming from. There is Old Glory Distilling Company in Clarksville, Tennessee, Casey Jones Distillery in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and M.B. Rowland Distillery in Pembroke, Kentucky. They all joined forces to make the Stateline Whiskey Tour. It's kind of a self-guided tour if you're going to all three. We were able to complete the Stateline Whiskey Tour in just one day. And as you go along, you get a shot glass from each distillery. And at the last place, you get a stave to save your shot glasses. So how fun is that? I hope you'll join the Stateline Whiskey Tour and tell us all about it. So again, it's our third stop, and we're pretty excited about that because on our third stop, we got that final shot glass and we got the stave that goes with it. And we're still dragging our friend, Cindy Ledbetter, along with us for the day. And we did this all in one day. And I think she's having a pretty good time. The first thing I remember about arriving at Casey Jones, though, is we were running late from MB Rowland. And it was getting dark and we're trying to find the turnoff and we're pulling in and we're like, we gotta hurry, we're gonna be late. And then we come with, I thought, oh my gosh, they're gonna start the tour without us. This person that works there comes running out, are you Wayne and Rebecca? And we're like, yes. They go, the rest of your party's here. And we're thinking, we don't have a party. But it was the people we picked up in Clarksville that got there before us, and they held the tour for us because we were running about 10 minutes late, and then we got to go on the tour. So that's one of my most fun memories, because I'm like, we don't have a party, but it was kind of fun. You remember?
I remember because we ended up taking this back road.
Well,
and any of the back roads I've ever taken in Kentucky, it takes forever. We drove by an Amish family that had all their clothes drying in the front yard. Finally, we did pull up, and everything she said happened.
So obviously we rushed right in. Normally we check in and do this and peruse the gift shop, yada, yada. But we were like beeline to the tour. We didn't have to check in because they were waiting for us. So we just went on the tour, and it was pretty interesting and very historical. One of the very interesting things about Casey Jones is it goes way, way back, right? So they had a huge, and as many of these distilleries did, a very long moonshine history in the family. And there's some stories that I don't recall all the details of about their original. They were known for making a square pot still. And the reason for that was, and this is brilliant, we watch moonshiners, right? We've never seen them make a square pot still. But they made their great-great-great-grandfather made a square pot still because that way, if the revenuers were coming, you could put it in the back of a pickup truck and take off. So it's kind of funny and it's like brilliant. So they still actually distill a lot of things on a more current one. And they have the antique one hanging up in their bar, over the bar, which is kind of interesting. But lots of good stories there about their history, about their process, and it's on a huge farm. One of the things I really love about Casey Jones, they have events all the time. Matter of fact, let's tell Wayne here, they have a lot of things coming up. We need to think about going down there because they've got a lot of great events happening. They do things in the summertime and have fantastic events. And it's just a lovely place to visit. And the people there are fantastic.
They are.
I mean, before we even get into our experience, I mean, I just got to say, we've been there, I don't know how many times now. And it is just always fantastic.
Yeah, probably about half a dozen. The last time we were there, we had our very first barrel pick with the Owensboro Bourbon Society. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool. So it's a nice place. I really like it.
What else do you remember about the tour, Wayne?
Well, it was one of the few times that we took a tour when it was kind of getting dark. I remember that. And it's a smaller tour as well. You know, there's not a whole lot that they take you through.
Yeah, we didn't go out to the rick house or anything.
No.
First time we went to the rick house was on the barrel pick.
Yes, and I think the only time we ever did.
Yeah.
They took us out to their brand new still. At that point, it was not running.
Yeah, they had all the pieces, and they were working on testing and kind of getting it assembled and everything. But it's running now. But we haven't taken a tour again, so maybe we'll have to ask that next time we go in if we can check out the still that was new back in 2022.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, we did our tour. It was, I wouldn't say it was real quick, but there wasn't a whole lot to see there. But
the history was the big part.
Yeah, it was the history of the property and what they've done,
and the family,
and the square stills, and
then we go in for the tasting. And we've done a tasting there numerous times, and their tasting is just a little crazy. They give you, what is it, like, I don't know how many communion cups you get. a
lot.
And they have, because they have so much stuff, I can't even express. They have 3 different mash bills for their whiskeys. I mean, they have a 4-grain, they have, I mean, just a ton of different mash bills. So you can try all their different expressions of their whiskeys that have all these different mash bills, because you kind of want to try them all, especially if you're like us, you're the whiskey people. You want to try the different mash bills to see which one kind of talks to you. One's wheated, one's a 4-grain. I mean, one has more rye, one has more corn, blah, blah, blah. And then they also have a rye, and which we got that day. They also have a ton of moonshine.
Yeah.
And they're definitely known for moonshine and flavor, and they're pretty good.
Yes.
I mean, we're not big flavor moonshine people, but theirs are actually pretty good. So they will talk about like 17, 18, 20 things. I don't even know. It's like so many items. It's overwhelming. It's a big circular kind of tasting bar with all these cups. And then when you want to taste something, you put your cup out, and then they pour your cup. And until you taste that. So, you know, and if you want to pass, you just kind of pat. It reminds me of being in a Brazilian restaurant where, do you want more meat? No, I got the no thing out. I don't need any more meat right now.
Right.
So, but you just keep putting your cup out when you want something, or you pass if you don't want that. So you kind of have to plan a little bit. You have a big list of the moonshines, a big list of the whiskeys, so you know how many you have. So it takes a little bit of planning, but then you kind of be able to go through like that. So we've done it, I think 3 times we've done the tasting there when we've stopped in, just to see what they had, to try something new. It's a great option. Or they also have a bar.
Yes.
So you can also go into the bar and get a cocktail. You always get their Bloody Mary, right?
I do.
You like it?
I do.
So we did all the tasting, which was fun. And then, of course, the other thing you have to do is make your decision about what you're going to drink. And again, we had our friend Cindy with us, who now is at her 3rd distillery, her first day ever doing distilleries, period. But then you're doing the Wayne and Rebecca experience. And so she's like, when are we going to dinner? The whole time she's like, when are we going to dinner? So we're like, we got to get through these distilleries. We can't stop and eat. We're on a schedule. And it was kind of funny, but she had a good time. She was buying souvenirs along the way too. Yeah. And so we, of course, purchased several bottles that day. I think we only bought 2 that day. We bought this one and the rye, but we bought a lot more since then. We have a shelf that has a lot of Casey Jones. We have in our backup closet, we have a bunch of Casey Jones too. So we're Casey Jones fans, just saying. AJ and Peg are fantastic. AJ and Peg, if you're watching, we love you.
Kind of looking over there, that's kind of our mixed shelf right there of
MB Rollin'
and MB Rollin' and all that. But yeah.
So anyway, I had a great time. We always have a good time when we go there. It's just a great place, and they have a really nice facility. They do weddings and stuff there, and they do events and parties. They have camp out events. So does MB Rollin', and this time they didn't have it. Sometimes they have a barbecue truck there that's just amazing. So you can have a few bourbons and then have some barbecue. It's a pretty good deal. They bring their smoker and everything. So always a good time on the western part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, because I think they do it upright.
They do. So what are we drinking here?
Let's
drink. Is this one?
Let's have a drink of this. And this is not our first taste of this, but we haven't had it for a while. So let me tell you a little bit about it. This is Casey Jones Small Batch Straight Bourbon. It is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey made by Casey Jones Distillery. This is 80% yellow dent corn, 16% rye, and 4% malted barley. It is aged 2.9 years. Its proof is 112, and it was made on an authentic square pot still. We purchased it December 18th of 2022 for $64.99 at the distillery. So this is We only have one thing we ever taste that's made on a square pot still, and it comes from Casey Jones. So this one was still done at that time, which is pretty exciting. We had some before, but it's probably been at least a year, maybe 2 years, because we've gotten a few new things from them. We've gotten our own barrel pick from them. So we've been drinking Casey Jones, but we haven't had any from this bottle probably for almost 2 years.
Yep.
Well, let's check it out. It's a golden amber.
Well, I would think, going back in memory over the previous two that we've been to, this is probably the lightest in color.
It's the youngest too, because doing the Stateline Whiskey Tour, the Old Glory bourbon we got was 4 years old. The MB Roland was 8 years old. This is 2.9 years old. So it's definitely younger, but it is getting some nice legs on it. Look at that viscosity forming. That's beautiful.
Well, I've got the rim again, and I've got a ton of little beads. I never get the...
I think you spin too long.
It's probably.
Because my legs are, see my legs? Can you see through my glass?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah. Let's check out the nose. And I will say that the yellow dent corn typically does have a little bit of a different aroma. We've been to a few places that use that versus a basic corn. As I'm recalling, the MB Roland often uses their white corn. This one is a dent corn, yellow dent.
Well, this is there's sweetness on this, and it's almost honey.
Yeah, it smells good. I'm surprised this doesn't have wheat in it. Their 4-grain is terrific, by the way. And this one is their, this particular has their rye, higher rye, the black label. They have a white label, which is mash bill 1, which has a little bit lower rye. And then their kind of burgundy label is their 4-grain that has the wheat in it. So if you're in there and you want to quickly pick bottles and you don't want to read labels, that's a hint for you. Pro tip. I'm getting some spice.
I get honey.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there is a nice honey note on this. That's the sweetness, which is fascinating. We normally get a honey note when it's a wheated bourbon, and this is not a wheated bourbon.
Yeah.
But that's almost confectionery. I'm wondering it's because it's a yellow dent corn. If that's giving me a different vibe than a normal corn mash bill would. I need to taste it.
Yep.
To AJ and Peg at Casey Jones, we love you guys. You know we do.
You guys
we can't
awesome.
wait to try this again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's just really good. It's got so many nice sweet notes on it. We've had a lot of savory bourbons lately, and to get something with these really lovely sweet notes is just kind of a nice change of pace.
Sweetness, I'll still stick with honey.
I agree.
I don't think it's as sweet.
Because my husband's always right.
No, I'm not always right. I'm barely right. But I think that I think it's sweeter on the nose than on the palate myself. But I'm not saying that it's bitter or off-putting or whatever.
And it's funny because it drinks a little like a wheater. And I'm going back to the fact that it's got that yellow dent corn because I'm getting a toast note to it. Like, for me, the honey on the palate is like, because it's got some creaminess, is that I made honey butter. Like, you take real butter and put honey in it. And you mostly butter, but you got a little bit hint of honey. And you put it on a piece of slightly over toasted toast and eat that. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. I'm getting a confectionery sugar, and it's funny you say it about the wheater. There's a breadiness about it. Absolutely.
I'm a little bit palate shocked right now because I was not expecting it to go this way. It's you could throw this in a wheated blind, and you'd probably fool people. You
would have trouble, yeah. And I think because the bread notes, but I think it has to do with their particular choice of grains, and the fact that it's only 2.9 years old. That I'm getting this almost char note on it. And that's where the kind of just shy of burnt toast is coming in for me. It's like I like to use a high setting for my toast when I eat toast. I want it very brown. Don't want it burnt, but I want it very brown. And that's what I'm getting with the honey butter on it because it's got a creaminess. I love the mouthfeel of it.
You get the corn. That is the sweetness. What do you think about the finish?
I haven't really thought about the finish. I'm just digging this palate. I'll try the finish.
It's not a long one, I'll say that.
I would say it's medium.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably goes back to the age a bit. If it was a little bit older, it might have a little bit longer finish. I don't know, the viscosity, I would say it's medium, maybe medium to long, because the viscosity is making it hang a little bit. It's not a very spicy finish. There's not really any barrel notes, right? I'm not getting that. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of white pepper. Again, it's kind of drinking like a wheater.
Well,
I get white pepper on wheaters a lot.
Well, myself, I'm getting something on the back that I normally don't get. I'm getting confectionery sugar.
Wow.
This is.
I didn't find it that sweet on the finish, but wow, that's cool.
It's very different. My palate is a little blown away right now. I was not expecting this.
Do you like it?
I do. I'm confused by it once again, but I like it. Would I buy it again? I would probably buy it again.
Yeah, and it's funny because every time we see AJ at an event or anything, or we stop in, he's like, "Oh, I got this over here," and whatever he says, I buy. I mean, AJ, you've got my number. So, and it's the truth because it's like always so good. And we're probably going to do a review of a couple of their other special releases they've had there this year for their anniversary. We'll probably do one separate for that. This is more about the Bourbon Trail, but the bottom line is they do really good stuff. And I have yet to buy a bottle there that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And so that says a lot. And I've also purchased some peach moonshine from my mom. And she thought that was fantastic as well. She puts it in her iced tea. I'm just saying. And so that was pretty good. So yeah, they have some really. Oh, and I also bought there one time honey.
Yes.
Because they partner with a local person that has beehives, and their honey was fantastic. And they had a hot. I bought two containers of it. One of them was a peach infused honey, which was amazing. I used it to glaze a ham with it. The other one was a hot pepper honey.
That I remember.
Amazing. I wish I wasn't out because now I'm doing cocktails on Thursdays, and I just imagine what that hot honey would be like in a cocktail. So I'm going to have to remember that when we stop back by there again, because I'm going to have to get some more of that.
Yeah, I only had a little bit of it. I remember that of the hot one. It was really good.
Really good.
Really, really good.
And the peach one, I made a couple of hams for family gatherings, and you make a honey glaze out of that with a peach. That is fantastic. So they have a lot of really good stuff. We have a bunch of shirts from them too, because they have tie-dye shirts and everything else. Peg is a marketing machine. I'm just going to say. It's AJ's wife.
She is, and they're really good people. And I'm not, and no disrespect to other places we've been to. As far as Casey Jones goes, for myself, if I had to list a top 10 of places I really like, they're in it.
I always feel like family when I'm there, or when we see them at an event, like we saw them at Barbecue and Barrels, we're like hugging and getting together and taking pictures, and they're just great, and their distillery is great. And I wish it was a little bit closer for us. It's like 90 minutes for us, which isn't terrible, but I would want to go to more of their events. I would want to do more of their things, and if we need to stay overnight, do that. But they're really cool. And and again, we talked about this whole Stateline Whiskey Tour. If you're into the Bourbon Trail at all, I would highly recommend you check that out. And for each of these videos, this is our third stop on the Stateline Whiskey Trail. That's why we have our stave now and our 3 glasses. But definitely check them out. I've got the link in the description that you can check out. So definitely do that, and do the entire West. I like to go the West is best, the Wild Wild West. Got to visit the West, right? Because the Western tour is great. There are so many parts, and a lot of people just stay in the Bardstown area, the Louisville area. Some people go up near the Covington, Cincinnati, so to speak, area. Some people venture out to Frankfurt and Lexington, but not as many people come to the West. I just want to say you need to come to the West. It's really cool in the West.
Agree.
And soon, I think it's a couple episodes from now, we'll be visiting one of our other very favorite places in the West, which is the Bard.
Yes.
So it won't be next week because we have an Indiana one next week. But after that, we will have the Bard. So there's a lot to do in the West. If you want a big distillery experience in the West, you've got Green River Distilling now in Owensboro, which is part of the West. So
how awesome is that?
I can't say enough about it. But right now, Casey Jones, we love you.
Yep. And with that, so cheers, Casey Jones out there. AJ, you and your wife do an outstanding job out there. I really do wish, though, you had a bed and breakfast, but I know it'll never happen because I asked the question at an event. Anyway,
we want to stay overnight. Invite us.
Yeah. So cheers to you. Cheers to what you do. You have a great day. Always remember to drink responsibly and do the West Line Tour. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.